Hello again. Now let's get into my theological theory of who and what I believe God is. Now please keep in mind that I am not a theologian, nor am I a student of theology. This is quite simply my theory, and it may not even be unique, but I believe it, and I'll try my best to explain it to you. You see, I believe that God is energy, pure, immeasurable, infinite, and intelligent energy. And the intelligent part is very important. Why? Because in the Hebrew scriptures, God describes himself in almost the very same way that science describes energy.
From the burning bush, O Lord, you charged me to bring the people to this holy mountain, to behold your glory and receive your law. What have I left undone?
And he did so far before we discovered these concepts and understandings of energy that we have today. It is said that God has no beginning and has no end. In other words, he cannot be created nor destroyed, just like energy cannot be created nor destroyed. And just like energy is everywhere at once and is in everything at once, as the atom is, God is everywhere and in everything. God is described as being omnipresent, which means that he is everywhere, in everything, at all times. God, just like energy, is described as an all-powerful and immeasurable force or energy. There is energy in our known universe that is so powerful that it is considered immeasurable. Also, God is infinite, therefore he exists outside of time and space. Energy, as with anything that is infinite, also exists outside of time and space. Why is energy infinite? Because if something cannot be created nor destroyed, and it exists, that means, by its definition, it is infinite. Here's something very interesting. People who don't believe in the idea of God, they often ask, if God created everything, then who created God? As if to suggest that the idea is an impossible fairy tale of some kind. While at the same time, they can easily accept the concept of energy being always here, meaning it was never created. It was always here because it cannot be created nor destroyed. So the same question can be applied to energy. If energy is everywhere and in everything and it cannot be created, then where did it begin? Or where did it come from? Now I fully understand that the energy that results from the equation E = mc squared, the energy that it gives out is indiscriminate. In other words, there is no thought to it, and it is therefore unintelligent. Whereas God is said to possess infinite intelligence. So the comparison would end there. And this would be true, and it would be the end of my theory, if were not for the equal sign. The fact that some of the matter on the opposite side of that equation contains intelligence, the energy on the other side has to also contain intelligence. As we discussed earlier that man has intelligence, therefore the energy that created the matter of man has to have intelligence in order for the equation to balance out. What I mean is that for E to equal mc squared, everything that mc squared is, E has to also be. And since man and his intelligence is part of mc squared, part of the matter and mass that exist in our universe, this intelligence of man has to be part of the other side of the equation, E, in order for the equation to be equal and to be true, which we know and science have proven to be true. And this intelligence has to be infinite because both sides of this equation is infinite. Now, if you ask any Christians or just any believer in God, did God create everything? Their most likely answer would be yes. But I don't believe this to be true. Because if I ask them, do you believe God created evil? Many would say no, or be unsure. At least this has been my experience with them. There is at least one character in the Bible that God did not seem to create. We read in Hebrews 7:3 about a mysterious high priest named Melchizedek. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He is described as being without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life. In other words, he is infinite, or as the Bible puts it, eternal. So I don't believe that God created everything. I believe that there is a realm of infinity where God exists. And in this realm, other beings or entities also exist along with God. I've always noticed that in the Bible, in the very beginning of man's creation, God warns the man and his mate about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Of course, as we know, they did not heed that warning, to the dismay of all of mankind. And the Bible said that just the knowledge of these two eternal invisible entities will have a devastating impact on our existence. And who can argue that? And in the Bible, in the very end of man's rule on this planet Earth, God says that man will know evil no more, and that he would destroy the evil one or ones, never evil itself. Many understand that Lucifer was not created evil. He let evil overtake him and he became evil. But it is obvious that evil existed long before Lucifer. This leads me to believe that God did not create evil. Rather, evil is one of the entities that resides in the infinite realm along with God. Now, I don't know whom or what the other residents are, but I believe that in this realm of infinity, some of the elements of nature that we are familiar with are also present. One very important element, if not the most important one, the fact that everything needs energy to fulfill its existence. This would explain God, being energy, would reign supreme, and all must be subservient and subjected to him. Because without energy, nothing exists, or if it does exist, it cannot perform without energy. So God chooses to whom and to what he gives a bit of himself to. We read this phenomenon in Mark 5:30. Immediately it says, Jesus, perceiving in himself that the power proceeding from him had gone out or gone forth, he turned around in the crowd and said, "Who touched my garments?" This power that left Jesus can only be described as energy. And energy plays the most prominent role in our lives and existence, whether we acknowledge it or not. We rest just to get energy. We eat to get energy. We fight to preserve it. And wars just to attain it. And wars are won and lost totally dependent on the amount of energy one has or uses against the other. And without it, our world as we know it would stop and we will die without it. Everything needs E in the E equal MC square equation. And that E, I believe, is the supreme being God. Everything needs E, God. Here is a final fun fact for you from the Bible. Did you know that the very first morally conducted successful cloning experiment was done by God? The results were recorded in the Bible over 3,500 years ago. We read in Genesis 2:21 through 22. So the Lord God caused the sleep to fall upon the man. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and comment. God bless.